If you need a portable speaker, JBL's lineup is very easy to recommend, and actually now more so than ever, thanks to the introduction of a new technology, which I shall explain. But one problem you might run into is figuring out which compact portable speaker would be best for you. Well, that's exactly why I'm making this video. In this one, I'm going to help you weigh up the pros and cons between the JBL Flip 7 and the JBL Charge 6. So by the end of the video, you will have a clear idea as to which one to get, and also maybe how many. Okay, so the first thing to consider is how small and light is right for you. The JBL Flip 7 is clearly more portable. With that said though, the Charge 6 seems to be more compact than ever before. In terms of the size difference between the two, the width of the Flip 7 is just over 7 inches. The width on the Charge 6 is just 9 inches. The height on the Flip 7 is roughly 2.5 inch and the Charge 6 is about an inch taller. But interestingly, when you look at these speakers in real life, the way that JBL has shaped the Charge 6 makes it actually look a bit smaller than it really is, as it kind of widens at its base. Naturally, there is a difference in weight. The Flip 7 comes in at 0.8 kilogram and the Charge 6 is 1.37 kilogram. So the difference in weight here between the two is roughly the weight of a can of beans. 570 grams. It's not a huge difference, but it's worth knowing that added weight on the Charge brings with it some significant advantages that I'll highlight as we go through the video. However, something you should definitely consider if you're backpacking or you absolutely must travel light because maybe you've maxed out your weight capacity for your carry-on luggage, well then yeah, you might be leaning towards the Flip 7 right now, but that could change. So stick around and you'll see why. So both of these speakers use the same durable materials with a very tight weave acoustic mesh, which is water resistant and actually waterproof. Both have impact absorbing rubber ends, which are slightly translucent this year, which look really nice, especially when light shines through them. Both can survive 1 meter drops onto hard surfaces, and they both have an official IP68 water and dust resistance rating, which is actually industry leading for these types of speakers. But here are some advantages for both based on their unique designs. The Flip 7 has a really unique push lock system, which allows you to switch between the canvas loop and a very sturdy carabiner clip. This is great for clipping your speaker quickly onto your backpack or onto a sunbed or an umbrella or something like that. The Charge 6 on the other hand just has one option here, and it is this detachable carry handle, which does make grabbing this speaker one-handed much easier. Also, this handle can be used to hang the Charge 6 up somewhere, and although you don't have that carabiner clip option to just click it onto things, you could unfasten the handle, hook it onto something and then fasten it back up, but that's just not as convenient. But here are a couple of big advantages for the Charge 6. When placed on a flat surface, that wider, flatter base makes it more stable, and it's also got 2 rubberized feet, and that combined with the fact that it's slightly heavier means that this speaker is much more stable and less likely to slip. So if you're going on a boat trip or anywhere near water, this speaker will be less accident prone. But do keep in mind, both speakers are waterproof and will actually float if dropped in water, and can survive even when fully submerged in up to 1.5 meters for half an hour. Okay, here is another advantage for the Charge 6. Even though both of these speakers have very similar button layouts, and they've also both got this really nice LED life bar, which represents how much power is left in the speaker. The Charge's button layout and display are much more visible and accessible when placed horizontal on just a flat surface. The Flip 7's buttons are actually kind of over the back, and also that life bar is over the back. So if you do want to see what buttons you're pushing, you will literally have to pick up the speaker and flip it around a little bit. So when it comes to ease of use and just convenience, the Charge 6 does have a little bit of an edge. All right, this might be a very important factor for you. The added weight of the Charge actually gives it 3 big advantages, and this is one of them. The Charge 6 has a much larger battery and can deliver up to 24 hours of audio power. The Flip 7, in comparison, can run for 14 hours. That's a 10-hour difference, but they both have this really cool JBL feature. It's kind of like an endurance mode for these speakers that can extend the battery life even further if you find yourself in a pinch and the party's not over yet. So by activating this JBL Playtime Boost feature, you can get 4 more hours on the Charge 6 and an additional 2 hours on the Flip 7. Now here is a downside for the Charge. Because it does have a larger battery, it does take longer to recharge to 100%, with a full recharge taking about 3 hours. The Flip 7 charges to full in around 2.5 hours. However, here is a big win for the Charge, and it's the very reason why it has the name Charge. This speaker has the ability to recharge your phone or earbuds or headphones or whatever, essentially acting like a power bank, which is something the Flip 7 just can't do. So for traveling, this could be a very useful feature, and it could mean you don't need to carry an additional power bank at all. All right, of course, there are trade-offs for opting for either the smaller, lighter speaker or the heavier, larger speaker. But when it comes to sound quality, how much of a difference is there? Particularly when it comes to clarity and bass and overall power. Now, I could try to explain to you in words the difference, but maybe it's better you hear it for yourself. So throw on some headphones and have a listen. So if you heard a difference there, that's because there are, of course, hardware differences, but there are also quite a few similarities. See, both of these speakers use more or less the same configuration, with a slightly larger mid-bass racetrack driver combined with a newly improved tweeter. So they are both mono speakers, and both of these do have really eye-pleasing and bass-enhancing woofers at either end. But here's the big difference. The Charge 6 has a larger frequency response range, and that's thanks to a 37% larger mid-bass driver. The tweeter is also 25% larger. And of course, the passive radiators at either end are also larger. And generally, when it comes to speakers, the more air you can move, the bigger the sound can be. And something else to consider is overall, the combined power output on the Charge 6 is 45 watts RMS, and that's 10 watts RMS more than the Flip 7. Okay, so at this point, you might be thinking the Charge 6 is definitely the better option for audio, and you're probably right, but we are talking about using it standalone. But did you know there is a way the JBL Flip 7 could actually defeat the Charge 6? And it is kind of cheating, but you could do it if you had two Flip 7s, because then you could create a stereo pair, which is something you can do with the JBL portable app. So let's say you're going on holiday with a friend, you both have limited luggage capacity. You could each take the smaller speaker and then combine them together later on for proper stereo separation and a more room-filling sound. And it's actually very easy to do in the JBL portable app, which is a really nice app, by the way. There's some really nice subtle details here which I appreciate. For example, if you pair this purple speaker to this app, the background adopts the color of the speaker. You also get awesome EQs here, including JBL's signature sound, but if you scroll all the way to the end, you also have an 8-band EQ for dialing in your own particular sound. Now listen, I know some of you are going to be saying this. Yes, you can pair two Charge 6s together for a stereo pair, and yes, that definitely would sound better, but do keep in mind, doing that means you'll be carrying a lot more weight, and you'll be taking up a lot more space, and it will cost you more money. I'm not saying you can't do it or you shouldn't do it, just be aware of those things. Okay, now that new bit of tech that I mentioned earlier on, see this button right here? This is what's known as the AURACAST button, and technically speaking, this button right here can allow you to connect to an unlimited amount of AURACAST speakers, as when you push this button on a device that's playing audio, it kind of creates a radio station that other AURACAST devices can connect to. But what makes this particular feature really special is the fact that AURACAST is an open standard technology that uses Bluetooth LE. So technically this means you could pair these speakers to any speaker, even if it's not a JBL speaker, as long as it supports AURACAST, which is kind of incredible. Now, before we move on to what might be the most important difference, there is a secret weapon that both of these JBL speakers have. In the past, quite a while ago now, JBL got rid of the audio jack on their smaller speakers. Some people were not very happy about that. But now JBL has made up for this with their USB-C to C lossless audio feature. This is how it works. You plug the cable into your phone, then you hold down the play button on the speaker and then plug the other end of the cable into the speaker. You'll hear a chime, and now you've established a high-speed connection. The advantages of this are the stability of the connection, you won't get any signal interference, and the speed of the connection allows for the highest quality signal possible to reach the speaker. And because this connection is truly lossless and very fast, you'll get basically zero latency, aka audio lag, which is ideal for watching movies or playing games whilst using a JBL speaker for audio. Okay, here is the last important factor to consider when deciding between the JBL Flip 7 and the JBL Charge 6. It is, of course, the price. In the UK right now, the JBL Flip 7 retails for £129 and the Charge 6 is £40 more at £169. There are a ton of colors, including a really nice camo one, so you might want to have a look at those. And also keep in mind the prices can change, so I will have affiliate links that will give you the most up-to-date prices in the description and in the top pinned comment. So definitely check those out if you want the latest deals. So guys, be honest with me, all things considered now, what are you going for? The JBL Flip 7 or the JBL Charge 6? Let me know, and let me know what feature won you over. Appreciate you guys for watching this one. If you got any value out of it, a little thumbs up would be appreciated. If you just subscribed, you're now one of the finest subscribers known to man. And if you want to check out some of my other JBL videos, they're on screen right now. See you guys in the next one. Don't be late.